What is happening, people? How we living?
Yeah.
How we feeling? Hopefully you're having a fantastic day and you're ready for it to get better tonight on the stream. We will be helping people with their Dynasty teams, reviewing them, giving them some direction moving forward, telling them what we would do if it were our team, some trades that they might be able to make, the direction they should go, what they should do with their draft capital. All that is happening on today's video, and it will only be happening for people who are Mother Flocker members with the promo code LAND. So if you're watching this either now or later, use the direct link that we put in the chat to sign up. But when you sign up, make sure you choose Mother Flocker member. Make sure you use the code LAND. And I would suggest clicking instant access when you sign up so you don't have to wait for that 7-day free trial to end. But you get a team review, you get our rankings, our rookie report, you get the Discord completely unlocked, you get a DM to us for advice, all that and more. So everyone's teams that we are going to be looking at today, they are members with us over there. What's up, Vince? How we living? What's up, Styles?
How you feeling?
Vince says, hit that like button. We appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man.
Brizzleton
Thank you.
says, I was just going to get drunk and watch The Grinch, but what's good? You love to see it. What's up, Maddie? Welcome in. Welcome in. We appreciate y'all. So thanks for joining us. First team that we are reviewing today is whyuserwhy. And you guys are going to see us use the Flock Fantasy website for this review. To be clear, this is the website that we will use going forward eventually.
Yeah, exactly.
We're transitioning to this website right now where you can submit your reviews to us directly through the site. If you already had a team review through Discord, you don't get an additional one. It's still one per user. But we're waiting for a couple features to be implemented before we fully transition to that site. And if you're someone who has submitted a team on the site, one of the things that we want to be implemented on the site is that you get a notification when we message you over on the Flock Fantasy website when you submit our review. So there's quite a few people whose teams are waiting, but we don't have a reply from you. We've tried to get some information from you. We've had one person reply, but really it's just because we aren't notifying you guys. So if you're watching this and you have submitted a team review through the website, then I would suggest to go back to the website and see if there's a message waiting for you. Soon we will implement that change. But we are going to look at whyuserwhy's team. He is a member over here on the Flock Fantasy website. And let's have a look at his team. Why don't you go ahead and take it away, Badaki?
Yeah, I would need to get his details up. Sorry, I was still trying to get that up.
That's okay.
But yes, looking at it, you can kind of see here a couple details that he was saying. No, he's saying there's teams. The team is 2 years in the making. He says, let me know if you need any additional information, context. He says, I have 500. Well, I was trying to read the thing. Since I have everything typed out,
so
but I wanted to explain things.
Let's start in the details tab there, brother. Because that's where he's put all the
I was looking in the chat. I was looking in the chat.
It's new for everyone here, I guess.
Yeah, it is. This is the first time we're using this, so keep in mind, guys. All right, 10 team, Dynasty, SuperFlex, half PPR, 4 passing touchdowns, 6 rushing, etc., etc. You can start up to, it looks like 1, 3, 4, was that 5, 6, 10. Start 10. Start 11 actually. 19 bench, 3 taxi spots.
5, 6. Yeah, start 11.
Start 11. So there's a big, with his picks, you can see here, he has the 101 to the 1, basically to the 110, which is hilarious. I said, my strategy is a 101 Caleb, and he goes with his strategy. Where'd I lose neighbors if I take Jaden at the 103, 104, Leach's Fields, taking Jaden Daniels, Drake, May, 105. So he's just breaking down what he would potentially be doing here in this, in the top 10 picks that he has.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see if there's anything else that
there's a trade question here. I'm not
about.
sure. If you have a trade question for us, just put it in the chat now, Showdown, that we're reviewing your team. But let's go ahead and have a look at this in the teams section here. It'll bring up your roster. We are excited to use this with you guys here in the future. But obviously just waiting for a couple of those things to be implemented like we mentioned. But Team name. What was the team name? Draft day. So they right now, according to the community rankings, our community would have you ranked 7th overall. They would have you as 3rd in quarterbacks, 8th in running backs. So that's one of your weaknesses according to the community.
8th in wide receiver as well.
Middle of the pack at wide receiver, 4th in tight ends, and as far as picks go, they've got you ranked 4th. So overall, 7th ranked team. And why don't we go ahead and break this down?
At the quarterback position, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young there, and with these picks that you have, looks like you will be going Caleb Williams, so we'll definitely talk about that. Running back is definitely one of the weakest rooms here. Zamir White, Jalen Warren here. Obviously, Zamir White is a starting running back coming into this year for the Las Vegas Raiders. And then Jalen Warren is currently the backup. Maybe he gets some more opportunity here going into 2024. At the wide receiver position, you can start up to 6 wide receivers. So Tank Dell, George Pickens, Josh Allen, Jacoby Myers, and the rest kind of falls flat. Once again, you do have the draft capital, so this is going to be this team is really leaning on the draft capital and how this is going to be turning around here in the wide receiver room. And then really great tight end here with Dalton Kincaid, very underrated with Pat Frymuth as well. I think somebody who needs to be giving a second chance to, coming off of a bad year. So look, overall, it's a decent team. I think let's just go straight into this whiteboard here.
He says that he's ranked 1st in draft capital. Showdown, I'm assuming your draft hasn't happened yet, and I'm assuming that you have more picks than what the site is showing right now. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm just going to go ahead and assume that. And
this is why we're doing this, so we can understand what we could potentially be fixing on the site and getting cleared up, because you did say you have a lot of capital here.
Let's take his team for now. I love the outlook of the website, but I don't think it's showing us accurate information. I know they're still working through a couple bugs there. And it's not showing accurate information. So let's have a look at Keep Trade Cut here. There we go. All right. So nothing really changed as far as players, but it actually shows like the proper picks here for us. And that is something that I know Joe and our team are working through over there. The website looks great, looks fantastic. We just got to get a couple of those bugs fixed. Showdown says, wow, that's weird. It did show correctly yesterday. Yeah, that is interesting. Well, we'll send this link to our live stream to our devs and let them look at it, because here it doesn't show you actually have any 1st round pick in 2024. And then when we go to Keep Trade Cut, it shows all the 1st round picks that you have. So maybe we'll send this to them. I know they're still working out some bugs, but overall, this team is pretty bare bones outside of CJ Stroud, Dalton Kincaid, Dell, and Pickens. You've got Bryce Young there, but like Badaki mentioned, the draft capital is what's really enticing here.
Yeah, this is what's really going to take you to the next level for your team going into this year.
By the way,
with everything that you have.
He did say that he traded the 107 for the 204 and a 25 first. But I see you don't have the 204. So I'm wondering, you've probably moved it again. Where is the 204 now? I'm curious. Or unless it looks like Keep Trade Cut hasn't updated it. So
maybe
this is maybe the 204 instead, and you added that 25 first. Maybe that's what's happening.
Traded, yeah.
Okay, commission didn't approve it yet, but he's going to. Okay.
Okay.
TX Cajun says on mine didn't show any 24 picks. So can you do us a favor, TX Cajun? Can you put that in the Discord? There is actually a Discord specifically for the team reviews, team issues. So go to this tab, My Team's Issues, and put that here in the messages so our devs can see it. The more feedback they get, the better the site is going to be. But let's walk through this. 101, 102 is pretty easy. Caleb Williams, and we're going to grab Marvin Harrison Jr. here, right?
Yeah, exactly. Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr. And at the 103, look, we will always say go best player available. I mean, why not go Jaden Daniels here? I know you have the quarterbacks, especially having CJ Stroud and Caleb Williams in this. Or what we could potentially do is trade back. So
I was gonna actually go a different direction because I definitely get where you're coming from, but when it comes to a 10-man, I view it a little bit differently. I think, especially if he is starting, what is it, six wide receivers, you can actually start 7.
I'm happy to go Malik here.
So the way I would do it here is I actually would take Malik Neighbors there, because if you do take Jaden, you're probably ending up with Jaden and then Drake May. So you've got 3 quarterbacks there. So in a 12-man, I would absolutely agree. But in a 10-man, I think those wide receivers, especially with his starting lineup, I think I would go Malik there at the 103.
Yeah, and that's perfectly fine. I'm happy to do that as well. With the 103, 105, like you said, Drake May. Happy to go Drake May there, or whichever player falls to you at the quarterback position, whether it's Drake May or JJ McCarthy. At the 106, I'm happy to go Roma Dunze here, kind of mentioning what you said there with Malik Neighbors. Really happy to go that route. And at the 108, once again, going best player available still. I mean, that could be a Lab McConkey, that could be a Brian Thomas Jr., that could be a Bo Nix. I mean, the list really goes on of players. That could be
I think I would
Bowers if you really wanted to.
Yeah. Is there a tight end premium in this one?
It's not. There's no tight end premium in this league.
Yeah. I think I'd go one of those wide receivers, and then at the 110, I would say is where I could look at, because I even feel like I can get Penix late in this type of league. Like, do you know what I mean? I feel like in a 10-man, Penix might fall late second at that 209 spot.
I think when it comes down, well, you know me, when it comes down to Penix, if I'm drafting two quarterbacks and having to set up, I'm happy to pivot. But
so what I'm trying to say is I think you can take advantage of the wide receivers that we love in round 1 and see if Penix falls to you late second round rather than drafting Bo Nix in this format, because you have to start that many wide receivers. So at the 108, I'd put the same names here, and I would obviously include like a Brock Bowers. But I would say the way I would ideally want this to play out in that first round, let me know if you see this differently, Badaki. I think Daniels will go, so I think you'll be left with May. But this is my ideal world, I'd say, in the first round, considering your league and the needs of not even the needs of your team, but just how this draft complements your starting lineup. So you would get Caleb and Drake May at your quarterback spot. That's already enough. We're already overstacked in a 10-man, because now we've got CJ, Caleb, May, and Bryce Young. We got 4 guys that we like, right?
Right.
So I don't think we need to force another quarterback in there. Then at wide receiver, we add Marvin, we add Malik, we add Roma Dunze, we add Brian, we add Lab McConkey, 5 guys that we love. And you add those guys to Tank Dell, George Pickens. In a league where you can start 6 wide receivers, Dell becomes your number 5? That's crazy. Pickens becomes your 5 or 6. I think this is the best route for you moving forward. And I would lock in the top 3 as Caleb, Marvin, and Malik. And I would try and get those wide receivers like that and start building that room.
Yeah, and I'm happy to do that here. And well, one thing I would say is, well, actually, what I was gonna say, if you really wanted to, instead of getting Lab McConkey, I think getting a running back is in contention here in this league.
Okay.
But depending on how far they fall, because at the 204, that's really the 202 in a 10-man league. So
I think Brooks and Benson are locks there for you.
Yeah, 100%. Brooks and Benson at the 204 will most likely land there in this format, hopefully. And then 209 is really 207. So that could be Blake Corum if you wanted to get that. If you wanted to get a Jalen Polk, if you wanted to get an Xavier Leggett, a Ricky Pearsall, if they really fall to
take a shot on your favorite player there, right?
Yeah,
whatever that name is. But you'll see our rankings and you can see who would be BPA for us. But WG says, being that stacked at quarterback, why not take JD5 for the okay, so let's play out that scenario here. This is why I dislike and you will not find someone who likes Jaden Daniels more than me, right, Badaki? I mean, you won't find that on YouTube right now. But let's play out this scenario. This is why this scenario is not ideal in my opinion. Okay, so all of a sudden, we have now taken home Caleb, Jaden, Drake May at minimum. We have drafted 3 quarterbacks in the top 5 in a 10-man league.
And you already have CJ and Bryce.
And you already have CJ and Bryce. So now you've got CJ, Bryce Young, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May. In a 10-man league, quarterbacks are less valuable in a 10-man Superflex league than they are in a 12-man Superflex league. So you miss out on a Malik Neighbors. And instead of getting that combo, you get Marvin, Odunze, Brian, and Ladd. You still add, but you miss out on that another elite wide receiver prospect. And I would say that's just how I would operate in a 10-man league in this situation. I wouldn't go Daniels there, even though I love him.
Yeah, and it just makes sense here. I think not having to go the quarterback makes sense in this format here.
Should we talk about if we move these picks?
We can. That's what I was going to say. I mean, I don't think there's necessarily any reason to move him unless there's somebody that he really needs. I think everyone's going to fall to him the way that he wants to, unless somebody's going to be reaching.
So the main pick that I was considering moving would be the 105 or the 106. And I would say you do this if you can ensure a Dunze at either pick. And the reason is because even if we draft Caleb, our roster in a 10-man is going to be fine with Caleb, CJ, and Bryce Young. We technically don't need to add Drake May to this roster. You can, but you technically don't need. So if you can ensure that you get a Dunze at either the 105 or 106, I would be completely open to shopping one of these picks and adding a veteran, adding a running back. There's so many names out there that come to mind around these prices. Garrett Wilson, a Drake London, an AJ Brown. At the running back spot, names that come to mind would be a Jahmyr Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey if you want to go all in this year. That's probably the range for those guys. Maybe you can get a Devon Achane and you can get a late first. Maybe you can get Etienne and a second with that kind of deal. But that's the kind of route I would be interested in. Your AJ Browns. What else did I say?
The AJ Browns, Garrett Wilson's.
Garrett Wilson, ideal
Gibbs,
targets.
London.
Jonathan Taylor. Drake London plus. Jahmyr Gibbs. Why don't we look at the people who have those players? Who has? Let's start with the running backs. Who has Jonathan Taylor?
Yeah, I'm gonna say the running backs are probably ideal here. Team 4 has Jahmyr Gibbs. Just FYI.
Okay, and let's start there then, because Team 4 has a stacked running back room.
Yep.
No first. Maybe they want to get into this draft. Can I offer them the 106 plus the 209? Would that get me a Jahmyr Gibbs? I know you and I would do that in this league, right?
Yeah, in this type of format, yeah.
Can I get the 106 for JT straight up? Who has JT?
JT Team 6 Cowboys. JT Devon, Tajay Spears. He has a 201.
So that might be a tougher get.
Yeah, I think so as well.
I think if you offer the 106 straight up for JT, see what they say. Do they have any first-round pick this year?
They don't have a first-round pick.
So that could be an incentive for them to get in. You could even ask if that guy would do Achane plus the 201. I don't know about you, but I would do that. I know
the 105 and the 201.
The 106 for Achane and the 201. In this 10-man league, that's the 111.
Right. Okay.
Plus Devon Achane.
That's definitely interesting. I will be listening to that, especially once again ensuring that you're going to get a Dunze.
Yeah.
Okay, keep that in mind. I'm not doing this if not getting a Dunze.
And then as far as wide receivers, it would just be a straight up deal for one of those names.
Yeah.
Right. So the 106. Can I get a Garrett Wilson?
Like we kind of mentioned up top, Garrett Wilson, Drake London, AJ Brown.
Yeah,
I think that's a really good list there of wide receivers to go out and try to acquire.
Yeah, but you're in a very good spot. You're in a very favorable spot. I think I'll paint my ideal world here, and then let me know if you have a different opinion. But
Yep, yep.
ideally, I think we stick at the 105 and we go Roma Dunze. And then I'd like this Jameer Gibbs trade if it's possible, or the Achan one, or the JT one. But in that world, we've got a quarterback room that consists of Caleb Williams, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young. We've got a running back room that consists of Jameer Gibbs. Let's say you get Trey Benson. You also have, what was it, Zamir White already,
Yep.
and Jalen Warren. That's a much better room than what you currently have. Let's say you add a quorum. At wide receiver, you've got Marvin, you've got Malik, you've got Brian, Lab McConkey, and then whatever you do with that 209. So that's the ideal world that I would paint.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add?
I would agree there. No, I would agree there. He was just saying, so I sold Garrett Wilson for 2 first, so I don't think he'll be sending him back
Okay.
for 1, and that's fair, and that's okay because regardless here of all these players that you're going to be getting at the wide receiver position, I think you're going to be stacked. This team is going to immediately be, or it's going to flip with all these rookie picks and how good these players are. Now, I think the next question I would be saying if I was Showdown, am I going to be competing? I think there's a world, but let's be realistic. With your whole team essentially being rookies, it may not be this year, maybe next year. So keep that in mind. I know you probably want to compete this year, and you got all these picks to hopefully compete, but you have to be realistic on how some of these quarterbacks are going to be performing. Unless every single one of these guys are going to have Jamar Chase's, C.J. Stroud, Justin Jefferson type of rookie years. Just keep that in mind when you are going into this year. You probably still going to want to be looking into getting a high,
Probably
not a high,
1 year away,
25
unless you sneak into the playoffs and all these rookies hit towards the end of the year.
and you have the 25 first capital, which is great as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's got
which
2
is
firsts
great
and
running
25,
backs.
and he just mentioned that he would hit running backs there. That's a great plan.
Yeah. So then, like, you are a year from competing essentially, whatever running back is going to be getting, you're going to be getting in 25 if you do get running back.
Yeah.
And you have the tight ends, you have the quarterbacks here, and like, don't be scared to start selling some of these guys. Like, if Drake May is the guy, maybe you can sell him high. Yeah, or sell him high, or keep him, or trade Bryce Young away for a running back that you believe can take you to that contention.
I don't think you need to do that now.
No, not at all. Wait and see how the season pans out. Then you can kind of play it off to see how you can navigate things.
So he did say, I was thinking about trading for Gibbs, but maybe I wasn't thinking about trading for Gibbs, but maybe I should. Yeah. I still think if you can get Gibbs for that deal, the 106 and the 209, I think you take it. And you shouldn't be afraid of adding good young players, even if you're not ready to compete just yet. Like, if there's a deal out there that's going to help you, get better and stay young, I think you should definitely explore it. But overall, fantastic. Well, the team isn't great, but the picks, you hit on the right draft. That's what I'll say. If there's any draft to bet on, it was this one, and you are in a great spot to build a huge contender. But I agree with Brizzleton. The Marvin, Neighbors, and Odunze scenario would be absolutely nuts. That would be a gold mine for you. But let us know if you have any other questions before we go on to the next team. But you're in a fantastic spot, my man. You're in a really, really good spot. So let us know if you have any other questions just before we move on to the next team. In case there is anyone out there who's watching and wants to know how they can get their team reviewed by us, it's very simple. All you got to do is become a Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. We just put a direct link in the chat for you if you'd like to sign up. But you get everything you see here on your screen, a rookie report from us, which we release after the NFL draft, a team review. You get access to our rankings, the trade calculator, obviously the DM to us for advice as well. You unlock our entire Discord channel. And of course, you're supporting Badaki and myself. You're keeping the lights on for the LAND crew. We appreciate y'all big time. Real big love from the crew. He says, if I get Gibbs, that would be great. I've been beating in this draft for 2 years, getting all the 24 picks. I love it.
Yeah, that's great.
Showdown says, thank you for everything. No questions right now. Appreciate you. You guys got Venmo. Don't have Venmo, but don't worry about it. You signing up was more than enough. Okay.
We appreciate you, brother.
We
Thank you so much.
appreciate you big time. If anyone out there is watching and has not hit the like button yet, do us a favor and hit that like button. Just a simple way for you to show some love. Cash App, he wants a tip. I mean, look, you can drop a super chat.
Yeah, you can drop a super chat
if you want, but
if you like. Please
don't feel any pressure to. The fact that you signed up for yearly membership is more than enough. We appreciate you big time, my man. But yeah, do us a favor, hit the like button. What's the like goal today? 50 likes?
Yeah, 50 likes, you know.
Halfway there already.
Likes. Come on, baby.
Halfway there. Help us get to that 50 like.
We appreciate
mark.
You guys. Thank you so much.
All right, the next team we are looking at today
is bbzebera.
bbzebera.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for the support. And just let me know when you're ready. Have that up, and I can go ahead and transition and start reading that off. The context.
Let me do this here real quick. By the way, last thing I'll say on that last team, if you're in a 10-man, that's the way it should be. If you're in a 10-man league, it should be a big starting lineup. You know?
Right, yeah, like the start 7 wide receivers.
Mm-hmm. Like, it should not be a start 7 or a start 8 in a 10-man league. Like, you got to make that big rosters, and you got to take out some of the randomness and add in some of the skill there when you're building that team. So, I love that. But, all right, go ahead.
Okay, bbzebera. Appreciate you. Format 10 team, 2 quarterbacks, 1 PPR, non-tight end premium, 4 passing touchdowns. Looks like you can start 3. Looks like you can start up to 5 wide receivers in this league, which is also very exciting. Context says home league is going on our 3rd year, and it's all their only dynasty leagues. Okay, so all values are very skewed. Most people draft strictly for need rather than best player available, and everyone is very hesitant to trade. Finished dead last year, but acquired lots of good draft capital for our upcoming 24 draft. With it being a 10-man league, I feel the quarterbacks aren't quite as hard to come by as in a 12-man SuperFlex league. Therefore, with the picks that I have, I can take Marvin Harrison at the 101 and then Mays or Daniels or even a Dunze at the 104. There's possibility I can take Williams at the 101 and still get Neighbors at the 104. I've given an 80% chance, and I'm pretty sure the 102 will be taking a quarterback no matter what happens here, essentially. I would love some advice on how my draft strategy for the upcoming rookie draft is possibly, and any other things that can change from my 12-team league to a 10-man league, if there is any. There's something that I have been looking for. Okay. Awesome, man. We appreciate you, by the way. Thank you so much with all that draft capital.
Yeah, appreciate the support and everything. If you're in the chat, by the way, let us know. We love talking to you guys while reviewing your teams if you're ever there. But first thing I will say, and I don't think we did a good enough job covering this year, is and you can only put out so many rankings. But I do think in a 10-man or an 8-man Superflex league, the strategy does change. And the rankings almost alter slightly. You know, you do, just like we did with that last team, you do prioritize certain players over others depending on the format, right? It'd be the opposite if it was a 14-man. Like, right? Imagine we just reviewed that team as a 14-man.
Yeah, exactly.
We'd say you got to take Daniels and be happy if May falls to you, right? So it's interesting. We didn't cover that well enough, I don't think, but maybe that's something that we can do better next year. But yeah, let's have a look at the squad.
Yeah, having a look at this team. I'm just trying to get the
Johnny Manziel's iPad. I think is the team name, right?
Yeah, Johnny Manziel iPad. Looks like you're 4th in this league here.
Oh, let me make sure to send this hotline, or let me send this to whyuserwhy before we move on here and just mark him as completed. Sorry, we're not used to this way of doing it. Let's see, how does that send? How does that look?
Yeah, we've never really done the way that happens, so.
It doesn't include any spacing. We'll have to tell them that. Do we have a DM for whyuserwhy?
Yeah,
we do.
It should be under whyuserwhy.
Okay, I'm gonna send you this over here.
And yeah, so why
There
use
we go.
why showdown? Use your fantasy hotline. By the way, so one thing we didn't mention. Once you're done with your draft, maybe send us a screenshot of your team and say, hey, this is a trade offer that I got throughout the draft. Maybe you're in a slow draft or not. We're more than happy to help you with those things as well. So keep that in mind. Don't utilize that fantasy hotline here. But going back to
Sorry, yeah.
Zebra's team here, Johnny Manziel's iPad, Kyler Murray, Will Levis, Aaron Rodgers, decent quarterback room. But look, getting another quarterback here could be phenomenal in this draft. But we'll wait and see what that looks like here. Zamir White. I mean, let's look at the running back room is not the strongest. Zamir White is really the only starting running back that you do have in this on your
Gibson.
team. Yeah, I mean, shout out to Antonio Gibson, man. His year. Gibby. Wide receivers, Tank Dell. It's really Tank Dell. I'll be honest with you. You do have people you could talk up. Roma Dunes at Romeo Dubs here. Dontavion Wicks is interesting. Shakir with Curtis Samuel. I feel like one of these guys is gonna potentially be leading this wide receiver room. You know, I'm not a big Keon Coleman believer. I think one of these guys could be significantly fantasy relevant. We just don't know who that is. And the rest is just the rest.
I would say when you look at all of these names that I'm highlighting here, if two of these guys have like really good seasons and surprise you, I think you should feel really good about that.
Yeah.
Outside of those names, I don't know that we really rely on them. And obviously at tight end, it's pretty bare. We'll look at this draft capital. We'll go to the whiteboard. 2 firsts and 25. We have our first and 26. So something to keep in mind. I'm really interested
in, because one of the biggest thing here in this context is how the way people draft for need, not.
He said that, yeah, I remember, right?
So I'm really interested who has the picks in between. So like the 202 and the 102 and the 103, excuse me. Because if you're saying they're drafting for need, like how did they envision need? You know, like the 103 currently, which is Team 7, by the way, Tua, Bryce Young, Kirk Cousins. Is that guy really envisioning
the 103 was Team what?
Team 7, Cool Breeze.
Okay.
It's hard to really envision what these guys need, right? Because we can say that he needs a quarterback, but he's probably thinking, man, I actually need a running back. Because he also mentioned in this context that Malik Neighbors could fall to him at the 105. Potentially.
I'll say this. I mean, looking at this guy's wide receiver room,
still get Neighbors at the 104.
I think Neighbors at the 103 is very much in play. But I think it's a true 50-50. But looking at that wide receiver room, I mean, you got to say it's almost a bigger need than the quarterback room.
And he says he feels really confident the 102 is taking a quarterback, which is Team 8. CJ Stroud, Geno Smith.
Right. I mean, so people will, here's what I know. People will say whatever they want to say before a draft. They don't always follow it. I mean, I don't know if they're just talking straight blunt with you or if they're playing strategy or not, but that guy needs a quarterback for sure. He also needs wide receiver. So I don't know how to read it.
Yeah, I don't know how to read it either, which makes this very difficult. But going to the whiteboard here.
Your team is in a position where you truly can take best player available, though. Like, I like Will Levis, but he's not someone I'm relying on. He's a bonus if he hits. So I do think this team could add quarterbacks if that ends up with being falls to him, you know?
Yeah, no question here.
So the question is, are you taking Marvin, or are you going to let one of the quarterbacks fall to you? And let what quarterback fall to you, or are you taking Caleb?
I think we can work out each scenario, but him having 6, 7, 8, and 10 makes me feel pretty confident in taking Caleb at the 101 with the way this draft is potentially going to be falling here.
Let's play it out then. Caleb Williams.
Let's play both scenarios. Caleb Williams at the 101, at the 104, Malik Neighbors. And if it's not Malik Neighbors, then it could be another quarterback, Drake May. It
will either be Neighbors. Think about it this way: you will have your choice between Neighbors, Marvin, and Daniels.
At the 104.
Yes, you will have to, based off math.
Right. Sure.
So you won't have to think about Drake May there yet.
Okay. So yes, you're right. I get what you're saying based off who could potentially be going at the 102 and 103.
It's one of these names available.
Yeah, at the 106, I think this is where you can either go Roma Dunze, you can go then another quarterback if you really wanted to. But once again, now in a 10-man league, are you pushing it a little bit more to then at the letting these guys fall, seeing what happens here? Get a Roma Dunze, a Brian Thomas Jr., a Lam McConkey. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you run 6, 7, 8. I think in the
Yeah, that's
ideal
you
world,
run 6, 7, 8 wide receivers. No.
it depends on what happens at the 104. Oh, there's so many scenarios here. So
that's the thing. That's the biggest. That's the biggest. That's the hardest thing right now.
Let's play this out all different ways. Okay, so let's say this is neighbors. All right, let's play that world. I'd still go a Dunze, which means that you can get Drake May here still. You can also get Brian Thomas Jr. Is there a tight end premium here?
No tight end premium.
And then at the 110, you'll still have your options of a McConkey, Bowers, a Worthy, a Nix, right? So that's how that plays out. Scenario 2 is where you get Malik Neighbors.
So let's do the next scenario where Malik Neighbors is gone at the 103.
So let's say you end up with Daniels.
Sure.
Because the reality is, I don't think Marvin's going to fall to the 104.
Mm-hmm. So at the moment, okay, so this hypothetical is Caleb at the 101, Marvin Harrison Jr. at the 102. At the 103, it's Malik Neighbors. Okay.
And then I don't actually think it changes after that.
So maybe what we should do, so he can remember, we can be like, 102.
Well, just say the 104 equals Neighbors, because it'd be easier to do that than type all the names out.
Okay, wait, type it out. Sorry, I don't want to. However way you want.
Just basically in this scenario, the 104 equals Daniels, right? And in the scenario before, the 104 equals
right.
Neighbors.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So
sure. We're not forgetting.
And also that strategy doesn't change if it's Marvin either. So let's just leave scenario 2 for both of those options.
Right.
But I don't know that it really changes for me based off of how it goes, because I guess now you're going to ask yourself, well, if you get Daniels instead of Neighbors or Marvin, are you letting Drake May fall to the 109 and not drafting him? I'm not.
Well, that's the thing.
Like, I don't think it changes. I'm still grabbing a Dunze and Brian Thomas, but I'm also taking Drake.
Drake, you're not gonna reach on somebody else unless it's Brock Bowers, but it's not a tight end premium like you said. But his tight end is Luke Musgrave.
Yeah, no, that's fair. He does actually need a tight end.
So
it's a 10-man.
Maybe Brock Bowers is the play there, with already having Caleb. In this scenario, in scenario 3, already having Caleb's Daniels and not CJ Stroud, is it Kyler Murray, excuse me, with Will Levis. Might as well take Brock Bowers here.
I'm just thinking this out. I think a Dunze probably goes at the 105. Who has a 105?
Let's find out.
To be honest, I think it's going to be impossible for us really to predict this, but the 105 is team 3. They have A-Rich, Baker, Watson. They have a great wide receiver room, so they're probably going quarterback. So that's good. That means Dunze is probably there.
Right. That does mean Dunze is probably there.
Here's the issue, though. Are we really not going to take Drake May? Like, I almost feel more comfortable grabbing Bowers and letting Brian fall.
Who has the 109? I'm just trying to really think about everything now, because 109 team 5, Big Nick Energy, Hurts. I mean, 105 needs a quarterback.
Yeah.
Hurts Fields. So
we could trade back with him, but
we could trade back.
I'm not letting Drake May go past the 108 though. if I'm sticking and picking.
Mhm.
Because I get he might not be a huge need for us, but I mean, we're going to be able to sell him. Daniel Jones is the quarterback too for this guy who has literally no picks this year outside the 207. Team 10 has no picks this year, and Mac Jones is his quarterback too. So there are obvious teams where you can exploit the quarterback market.
Yeah, exactly. So like, hey, do you want to trade back? You want to trade for this quarterback? Who can you give me?
Yeah.
The thing is, there's nobody here. Like, for example, I mean, we could potentially do something like that with Team 8 and then get a running back like Devon, hypothetically. Like, I'm just thinking out loud. But he has a 102, so Team 8 doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I think we can't really predict what's going to happen, but we've done the best that we can with these with these options that we've presented to you. Now, at the 201, you will have another opportunity to take the same players, McConkey, Bowers, Worthy, because that is technically the 111.
Exactly. And we wouldn't, in this scenario with this team, once again, another team that's not competing this year with all these rookie picks, punt the running back position with the 225 first that you do have, and get the running backs in 2025.
Yeah, as in you're not gonna take like a Brooks over a Worthy here, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree. So let's
sorry to think out loud. I actually think Brock Bowers might fall to him at the 201. Team 9 has Dalton Kincaid. That means Brock Bowers has to go from the 105 or earlier, or Team 9 is taking Dalton or
you
Brock
mean
Bowers.
whoever has the 109, which is team what?
Team
Big Nick
Team
Energy?
5. He has Dalton Kincaid. That's why I was.
Yeah, you're right.
Stuff.
He's probably going to take JJ McCarthy.
So that means that Brock Bowers is in play at the 201 here.
Yeah.
Do you go? I think. Anyways, continue.
Well, let's play out best case scenario here then, and I would say best case scenario is you get Neighbors. Would you agree? That's my favorite world here. So let's play out
a wide receiver at the 104. Yes, is the best case.
Let's play out best case scenario here. Let's say then with these you go Bowers or Worthy in whatever order it is, or it's McConkey, right? But it's pretty much this direction. So best case scenario, I think you've got a team after the draft that has Caleb Williams, Kyler Murray, Will Levis, Drake May. That's a great group there, and you got some flexibility with teams who are quarterback needy. At running back, we haven't really addressed it, but we don't need to just yet. At wide receiver, you add Neighbors, Adunze, Brian Thomas, and Xavier Worthy. So that's a great just injection of youth and talent in that wide receiver room. And then at tight end, we get Brock Bowers and Luke Musgrave. I think that's perfect. We're building foundations. We're building the right way. At the 208, we can go a Lloyd if he's there, a Corum if he's there. At the 308, we can look at like the Estimates of the world. Wright's probably not there, but another option, for example. So that's probably my ideal scenario here.
Yeah, I think so as well. One thing I think we should give him, just in case, is worst case scenario. What happens, which I doubt, what happens if Marvin Harrison Jr. and Neighbors go at the 103 or the 102 and the 103? Because that means that, look, you're gonna have to take these quarterbacks.
Well, we did play that out. That was scenario 2, where you got Jaden Davis.
Yes, there you go. Okay, so never mind. Perfect. Forgot about this one.
So
so you get Caleb, Rome, Drake. Sure.
Yeah, Liam. He can also go Pearsall. He can go whatever wide receiver he wants there. We've already hit wide receiver a bunch of times in round 1, but if he wants to go another wide receiver there and that's the best player available, totally feel free to do that. In a 10-man, those quarterbacks are going to get pushed, or those running backs are going to get pushed up the board, though. In 10-man, you're always going to have running backs pushed up a little bit, for the most part. It's not across the board, but for the most part. And our goal really is just to take best player available. So if that is a Pearsall or Coleman or
however
way that's fine.
Those rankings fall. Yeah. I think this is great.
I don't envision really trading any of these picks away. And I'm not
No.
sure there's a real obvious sell high on this team.
I would say this: 107 is in contention if that person wants a quarterback. If you're saying, "Hey, I'm taking Drake May here," in the back, why are you taking Drake May when you have one? And that can be somebody. The problem is, like, for example, I thought that could be Team 10, but Team 10 doesn't have anyone worth the 107, unless you get a 25 first. But he doesn't even have a 25 first. Maybe Team 9, who has Jordan Love, Daniel Jones, Derek Carr. Does he want Drake May? Who can we get in return? Another team that doesn't have
Let's look at
anyone
some
of
options there,
value.
then. What team did you say?
Team. Well, I was kind of talking it out. Like Team 10 doesn't have a quarterback too, but he doesn't have anyone of value. Team 9 doesn't have a quarterback too, or at least doesn't have a strong quarterback too, but doesn't have anyone of value at the 107, unfortunately, unless it's 25. But what he does have is a 25 first. If you wanted to pivot off of Drake May for a random 25 first.
Well, what you could even do is just bet on that team breaking down, take both of their future first.
Mm-hmm. So you can do some
team. What's their name?
This is the Beetle Clips.
And what was the name of the other one? Because we could do the same thing for that other guy who's down there.
Team 10, OSOGEO. I don't even know. But he doesn't have a 25 first. That's the problem.
Oh. Does he have two first anywhere?
He has a 26, and I'm pretty sure maybe a 27.
Okay, well then that's not gonna work.
That's not gonna work for that guy.
Okay, what are these other quarterback needy teams then? I mean, you could even
Team
7 is
5 is
gonna
quarterback
go
needy.
right?
Team 5, Big Nick Energy. This is somebody that you can trade back and maybe get like the 109.
Yeah, that's the issue. He's probably going to be happy with JJ or Drake.
Yeah, true, because we're not taking. You're right.
So a little bit limited there, but that is
limited.
the one scenario that makes sense.
Yeah.
But honestly, build the team through the draft. You clearly set your team up to build through the draft, and now you're here. You've got all the picks that you would ever want. Build it through the draft. Trust the process. Don't get impatient. Build around those quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight end. You can address running back next year when you're ready to compete, when it's more realistic to compete. But you're in a great spot, man. We cannot tell you how your draft is going to pan out. It sounds like one of those leagues where anything is possible. But hopefully we did our best in helping you think that one through. But we appreciate you big time, my man. Thank you for the support. Thank you for being a member. We got a couple more teams we're going to look at here. But Dominic says, how do I submit my team? Very simple, guys. Any team that you see us review on any stream is going to be only from people who are supporting us on the Flock Fantasy website with the promo code LAND. I just put a direct link in the chat if you'd like to sign up, but you got to be a Mother Flocker member and you have to use the code LAND. When you sign up, I would suggest clicking instant access. Otherwise, you just got to wait for that trial to end in order for your team to be eligible for a review. But when you sign up, we are going to start asking people to start submitting through the website. So basically, when you sign up and you've got an active membership, you'll see this team tab and you will click My Teams. You can then sync your teams from Sleeper and choose whatever team you want us to review and then click Submit for Review. Now, if you are going to do it through that process, what we ask you is check the website often because we're going to be sending you a message to get some information from you before we can review your team. At the moment, the website doesn't have a notification system. We're trying to implement that now with the developers. But that is how you can submit your team. Did I miss anything?
No,
okay.
That's about it. Just keep in mind that just want to emphasize there are going to be a lot of things we're going to be ironing out in the second half of these team reviews when we do transition. So just bear with us when it comes down to maybe some things that aren't as smooth as you can see here on Keep Trade Cut. But we believe in our site and how we can navigate that here very soon. So we're
Yes.
excited about that.
He says I use
but that's
domain and flock on 2 accounts is 3 too many. Up to you, man. That's a decision you got to make there.
Yep.
But love that you're supporting the crew. All right, next
awesome.
team here. And update on the
next
like
team
goal.
is TraxACE.
Like goal was 50. We're
Okay.
at 36. So just 14 likes away from our like goal. Do us a favor, hit that thing, help us get there. But sorry, go ahead. Next team is TraxACE.
TraxACE. We appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. 12 teams, start 11. SuperFlex, half tight end premium. Looks like you can start up to 6 wide receivers. This is a start 1, 3, 6, 7, 10, 11. Start 11, it looks like. Home league did the startup after the NFL draft. Definitely have a lot of rookie fever after looking at my team. Probably not competing this year, but hoping to in 2025 it all falls into place. If not 26. A lot of people took skill positions, so I took advantage of getting quarterbacks. It's hard to trade with somebody, to trade with some teams like, but the rest are willing to trade. So the idea of the comp pick, which our league is going to add, which is awesome, the land method, keep that in mind. Activity low because of all season, but should pick up during preseason or so. And then trades that he
We'll
made.
look at his trades after we look at the team, probably. But he is
says
here in the chat with us.
Yeah, he says overall, just want some help on what to do with the team moving forward. If I should either sell people in season or hold or anything. I have the general ideas of what to do, but want to hear other people's opinions on what to do and how to make teams as a contender in a year or two. That's great, man. So let's have a look at this team.
Thanks
team
for
name
the support, by the way. Thanks for being a member.
Yeah. What's up, brother?
I love it.
What's up, brother?
The cult is strong.
It is, and it's still growing. We appreciate you. We appreciate Sketch there. It looks like he is team 1. It looks like he could be the Thanos of the team. 99 overall. The closest one is 85.
Well, did you look at his running back room? There is not a non-rookie there.
There is not a non-rookie there.
It is actually straight rookies.
I love it though.
Let's actually figure out how many picks he had. I mean, let's do this. Let's do this math real quick because
3, 4,
he must have been stacked at draft capital.
14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
Some of these might have been waiver wire pickups, but our team
21, 22, 23, 24. There's 24 rookies on this team. Superstar, they call him.
I see 26, unless I'm counting wrong.
No, I counted 26 rookies. It's obviously some of them probably were picked up, unless this was like a 5-round rookie draft. Oh, it was a startup. Okay. I mean, either way, you went rookie fever here, but that's okay. Let's start off here at the quarterback position. C.J. Stroud, Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix Jr., Jacoby Brissett. The list goes on there.
It's a great room.
You have, great room.
I'm actually confused how. Sorry to cut in, but I'm really confused how you have this 3 and Chase and your first next year and your first in 26. Like I'm thinking about a startup.
Well, people maybe played did it as if like a win now build.
But even then, like think about the first round of a startup in a SuperFlex league. There's no way that Burrow, Stroud, and Chase alone aren't first-round picks. Daniel should be on the edge of the second round.
Well, this just means one team is probably terrible at quarterbacks. Yeah, team Rasheed Rice, team 10, Bryce Young, Will Levis. He's pretty bad at a quarterback.
He doesn't even have Rasheed Rice.
No. Team 3. I mean, it doesn't make any sense how many team 2.
I want to see the draft board, honestly.
Jalen Hurts, Daniel Jones, Justin Herbert, Daniel Jones, Aaron Rodgers. That team's not terrible. It feels like it's fairly even across the board. He was right. I mean, we haven't done a startup. What we need to do is a dynasty.
But do you see what I'm saying though? Like think about it from this perspective. In a startup, like league starts, you only got 1 first-round pick.
Yeah.
He has 3 first-round picks at minimum on his roster. I would love for you to send the draft board through to Discord. Go to draft results, click the link. I just want to see it. Can you submit it here? I honestly want to understand how you got that team. This is a team that you... Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I can't understand it. But you did really, really good job. It is a little rookie heavy. It is rookie
heavy, and I wonder... Here we go. He said put the league in the...
Okay, so here's the draft.
Okay.
Let's have a look at this.
And what's your team?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my god.
Justin Jefferson at the 101. Mahomes
Oh my
Tyreek
god.
Hill at the 103.
This has got to be like people's first time playing Dynasty.
And someone traded back.
How is Bijan at the 206 if this is how they're playing it? CMC goes at the 105. Tyreek at the 103 in a SuperFlex startup draft. Tyreek is the wide receiver 2 in these people's minds. Okay.
What's your sleep? Oh no, tracks. Okay, here you go.
Josh Allen is a 4th overall pick. Somehow Jared Goff still ends up being a 2nd round pick despite the chaos.
How did you get some? He must have done trades, because if you look at his team from the start, he no longer has Lamar Jackson on
I
his
think
team.
that was the main trade, though.
Kyler
The rest
Murray,
of his
James
draft
Daniels.
is pretty rookie heavy.
He doesn't have Waddle on his team anymore, which he drafted Waddle.
True. It's Waddle and Lamar. This is
everyone.
probably one of the more chaotic startups I've seen in a hot minute. This looks like... Is this a home league, Trax? He says it was very confusing. I don't know what was happening. Ultimate Taco League. So, is this people you know, or did you find this league? Because this feels like a home league. He says, yes, this is a home league. All right, so this is what happened. Badaki, we know what a home league vibe is. This is what happened. All these guys have been playing redraft together for a while. Good friends. They've been playing redraft together for a while.
Great friends.
Maybe 3 of the people in this league know what Dynasty is. They said, let's just start a Dynasty league. And here's the results. Most of these people did no research.
By the way.
And they saw Tyreek Hill and they thought, well, that's one of the best players in the NFL. I'm going to take him at 3. So that's what happened here. But, dude, congratulations. Because that's the kind of league that you dream of drafting in.
And just taking advantage of your friends.
Absolutely.
Kai Williams. Look at pick 35-10. Someone picked Kai Williams.
35-10. Yeah, bro.
It's just I don't know. It's just for bands.
Shout out to Kyle. Yeah, this is super interesting.
Anyways,
I can't wrap my head around it, but
look, overall, this is a great team.
You're not competing, though.
Yeah, you're not competing, but for you to compete, you have to wait, because you are rookie, heavy rookie base, and one of the biggest rooms we can say is in up in the air, but we believe in, is the running back room. We believe in Trey Benson. We believe in Jalen Wright. We believe in these guys, but we have to wait and see what was potentially going to be happening with their production in year 1, right? We believe Trey Benson is going to be a good running back in the league, but is it going to be James Conner in the first half of the season, and then he transitions to the second half? Jalen Wright, when does he get opportunity? But at the quarterback position, you're fine. CJ Stroud, Joe Burrow are your starters. With Jaden Daniels there.
I would say, just to add on to the running back room, like, you kind of played it perfectly if you weren't planning on competing this year anyway, in the sense of you just took a shot on every opportunity that you could, every injury that could happen, every rookie that could break out. Trey, if James Conner goes down, Jalen Wright, if Raheem Mostert gets injured like he normally does, if Audric Estime wins the job, I mean, that could happen. If James Cook goes down, if CMC gets injured, if Devin Singletary goes down, like, you kind of across the board took every shot here, which I think is a smart move.
Yeah, and look, at the wide receiver position, it feels pretty strong. But another room, which, by the way, this is a start. Let me just clarify.
You can start 6.
This is a start 6. So you're starting wide receivers: Chase, Brian Thomas, Ladd, Rice, Jermaine, really only have 5 starting wide receivers, and we could talk about Javon Baker, but even then, when is these guys gonna be getting these opportunities here? So Chase, Bryant, Thomas, Lamb, McConkey, and let's just throw Rice if he doesn't get suspended, or even if he gets suspended for 4 games. Those are your true starters that you're comfortable with, but you still need wide receivers that you need to fill in.
Well, you know
because
what,
these
though?
rookies.
This is kind of like the perfect player for his team build. A guy that you don't really want to score points for you this year anyway, but we know is going to be a part of the team. So, in a way, it's actually kind of the perfect build. But you're right. We're all on the same page. We're probably not competing this year. And if we do, it means that this is the best rookie class we've ever seen in history of the NFL. He does have a pick in 2025, which is from the team called Free Win. And their team is Allen, May, McCarthy, Nix. Some veteran running backs. Like, this team is definitely not like I'm not gonna say they're not a contender, but if they are a contender, one of these rookie quarterbacks hits. If they are a contender, none of these vets get injured. Malik hits, Adonai hits, Franklin hits, Johnston recovers, and Jake is still great, right? So that's a great pick to have, because even though his team is really good for the future, he's got a great young players. He has a lot in limbo for this year still. But I don't know that there's like an obvious sell as I look at this team. Like,
I don't think there's any sells and look, one thing I would do maybe in season, and if one of these guys take off, like for example, what if you sell CJ Stroud like you doing your strat, right? Do you sell CJ Stroud because you have Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels? Can you get a wide receiver in return? Can you get a running back in return? Like, would you want to do that? I'm not saying you should. I'm just bringing out options, right? I'm just throwing everything out there.
Let's talk about that.
Same thing with Jaden Daniels as well. Like, do you sell Jaden Daniels and see what you can get because somebody needs a quarterback? That's probably the only things that I will be potentially looking into.
Well, let's talk about the CJ Stroud trade options, which I've talked about in depth through the offseason. And that is in leagues where people know what they're doing to an extent. Like, I can't look at this startup and tell you that people are going to value CJ Stroud the way they should.
Sure.
Because according to this league, Justin Jefferson's more valuable. Tyreek Hill's more valuable. CMC is more valuable, you know? And who knows if Stroud didn't go at the 107, how far he would have fallen. I mean, would someone have taken, like, I don't know. Do you see what I'm saying, though? Like, Saquon Barkley ahead of him or something? I don't know. But, so, I think it's a little tough to try and take advantage of the market when this league clearly doesn't know the market.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, in a way, I don't think you could do that. I think this is a strong hold across the board. I want to give you some advice, but I don't know that there's an obvious sell.
Where did Jaden Daniels go? He went at the 305, yeah.
Jaden Daniels went at the 305?
I mean, look, he traded for CJ Stroud for, I'm assuming, Lamar. I wonder what he got in return. Well, let's look at the trades. He put the trades in the thing. Why didn't we talk about it? Lamar?
Sorry, let's look at those.
Lamar and Kyler so he sent Lamar and Kyler for Young, Stroud, and 225 first and 25 and a 25 second.
Okay.
Wow, so you got a lot in return there. You sent Leggett in a 25 third for Rice and a 25 second. That's interesting.
I like that move.
A 25, a 25, a 26 third, a 24 fourth for Pearsall, and a 26 first. But you don't have Pearsall anymore, so I'm assuming you trade him away.
Well, what is this his? Is that a first? Because
I'm assuming like his 20, like that guy's 25 first. You probably traded back his 25 first, and he got Ricky Pearsall and a 26 first, right? So then he trades away Bryce Young, Corm, a 25 second, a 26 second for Joe Burrow.
Yeah, that's cheap.
Yeah, that's nothing. You send Waddle, Pearsall, and a 25 second for Chase. So this was a real cheap. I think that's great as well. Trades that might get done is Stroud in a 25 and a 25 second for Hurts and Wilson.
Is that right? What Wilson is that?
Is that Garrett Wilson?
Is it Garrett or Michael? Because there's a big difference there.
It's Garrett or Michael?
I mean, there's a big difference. I love little Michael.
Look,
it's
I would
Garrett.
Say this.
It's
if
Garrett.
That's Garrett Wilson. Let's do this trade, brother.
In a heartbeat, bro.
Let's do this
in
trade.
a heartbeat. So maybe you can sell Stroud at a huge value in this league like others.
So
Yeah.
I'm loving the flips here for
You
sure.
don't
Like,
you don't even need the second, by the way. Hurts and Wilson is already a
nah,
huge
just
overpay. But if he's gonna
take
give
the
it to
second.
you, take it.
Take the second. Yeah, I was gonna say take the second.
But
If
even if he counters and is like, actually, I'm gonna give you Hurts and Wilson, but I need Stroud in a second. Absolutely, let's do it.
absolutely, brother.
Absolutely, sounds good.
Yeah, no, this is great. These are great trades here for sure. I mean, I like all these trades. I love the Lamar and Kylie getting Stroud at 225 first, and you flipping those firsts
And Young.
and getting and Young and
The Chase trade is crazy.
yeah, the Trace trade is amazing.
Burrow.
The Joe Burrow trade is great. So you got really good value here. And look, it sounds like there's a lot of people would rather have quality over quantity in this league. Because that's multiple trades you've done. That you did that trade with Joe
Well,
Burrow. You did
opposite.
the trade.
Most people
That's what I'm
want
saying.
quantity over
Quantity.
quality.
Sorry, they want quantity over quality. Exactly. So if you're continuing to doing that, might as well continue to do that and get some of these higher tier players. Because people think, well, I can get 3 players that can score just as much points when that guy is a superstar. So I would be. Those are role players, right? You send role players for superstars. If you know, you know.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to role player SGA yesterday. I mean, just doing what a role player does. You know, putting the team on his back, easy 30, cool 30. You know, 13 mid-range shots, over 55, 60% in the fourth quarter. That's just what a role player does in SGA. Shout out to one of the best role players in the league.
Also the role player.
But you know, I want to offer you value in this review, but I don't think I would tell you to sell anyone. So I want to know what questions you have for us, Trax, because we've reviewed your team, we've given you our thoughts, but we think at some point you might tinker too much with the roster. Let us know what questions you have. What have we not answered that you have wanted us to answer? He says, hoping I'm able to sell some of these rookies in season for seconds and maybe even a first if they hit. Totally. Or if they hit, build around them. You know, like you don't have to be in a perpetual rebuild either. Yeah, absolutely, Steven. A role player, not a superstar.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say this. Players I'm willing to trade on this team in season if there is opportunity that does go their way, maybe in a short stint. I think of players like an Aldrich Estime, or if you can get a second some way somehow in 25, sure.
I guess it
Javon,
just depends on what he looks like if he takes
exactly. Like if he takes the role and he's clearly the number one guy there, and Sean Payne is like, this is the running back of our future. You're not selling him for a second, right? Like
Yeah.
it just depends on what happens, and how you perceive his success in the NFL is going to look like in the next couple of years in his career. I would say the same thing with Javon Baker. I would say the same thing with. I would just say just Javon Baker and Aldrich Estime. Those are the guys
It's
that
just
I'll be
so
interested in.
circumstantial, though. It's so hard to say what you should sell them for if certain things happen at this point, you know. But all we can really say is well done. You've done a great job. I mean, UT said it's something I thought about. He says my advice is don't rob the guys too hard because most of them are going to quit when they realize how effed they are. I mean, look. Hopefully your league is a league that, you know, is full of friends and they're going to, you know, stay in it. But something to think about. I don't know if you want to talk about it with your league. Probably don't because they don't realize how bad their teams are yet. But I don't know. Like, that's a hard thing to navigate because, like Trax said at the beginning, he said, I told them to research and they didn't. Like, with all due respect, if you submit a buy-in for a Dynasty League multiple years and you decide not to do any research, I don't know how much, like, grace I have for you, but it's a tough balance.
Look, I'll be honest as well. Like, some of these teams aren't terrible, though. Like, look, I would never take Tyreek Hill at the 103, but he has Tyreek Hill, Puka, Etienne, Purdy. I mean, he has Austin Eckler, which is terrible. at the 5'10" there. So like that was probably just a rookie mistake, not understanding who Austin Eckler is at right now, right?
What's that guy's team name?
Anthony. Like this team is not terrible. It's just not something we would have done.
So he is literally at the bottom of the table here.
Sure, that's what I'm saying. But like I'm just looking at the draft
it's
board
not a
again.
terrible team, starters only.
It's not as terrible team with starters only, and like he could easily win some games, and like there's upside with these players. But it's just not something we would do in a dynasty startup, right? Like
No. That's got to be one of the worst startups I've ever seen.
yeah, I mean,
Respectfully. But all we can say is great job. Let us know if you have any final minute questions here. This is your time to shine. I think there is a moment where you can tinker too hard with the roster, and I think you've already made some really great trades, some really great moves, and put yourself in a position where, yeah, it might not be straight away, but eventually you will be competing pretty heavily in this league. By the way, if anyone out there is watching and they want their team reviewed, very simple process. All you got to do is become a Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. I just put a direct link in the chat. But yeah, that's how you get it done. All right, Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. You get our rookie report, a team review, the trade calculator, rankings, a DM to us for advice. You support Badaki and myself. You're keeping the lights on. You unlock our Discord. So consider that if you want to support the show and get some, review and some cool perks in return. Trax says, what should I do in 2025 draft picks? I would need any other quarterback, or would it just be BPA? You don't need another quarterback. It would be true BPA. I mean, honestly, in 2025, it's so far out. We can't really tell you exactly what to do with it right now because we don't know what players are going to step up and what players will, not live up to the hype. But I think you'll have a ton of flexibility with those picks. Like, let's say all of these players hit. Well, you could look at trading for guys who are already good in the NFL at the running back position and just kind of build your team out completely with those picks. You can stick and pick depending on the strengths of the draft. So a little early to tell you what to do with them, but I think you'll have a lot of flexibility is what I'll say.
Yeah. Great flexibility. Wait and see what happens there. And honestly, like you said, a bit too early to know like who's going to be the guy because anything could happen during the season. So
yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Why don't we turn the next 30 minutes into a Q&A? How do you feel about that, Badaki?
Sure.
So let's say drop a Q. Super chats will get answered straight away. Otherwise, we'll go in order.
Sure,
Oops.
brother.
I spelt that wrong.
Sure.
Okay, there we go. So we'll turn this into a Q&A to end the stream. And like we said, keep in mind, mother trucker, dude. All right, keep in mind, super chats will be answered straight away. Trax says, the advices you made is basically what I was thinking, but just wanted to hear your advice. Love how chaotic the draft went, like Eckler at the 5'10". Yeah, that was honestly pretty crazy.
That's just someone who is that guy a Chargers fan, or he had Austin Eckler in the past, and he's like, this guy's really good. Let me just take him now.
I mean, if you look at his team, it feels like just someone who plays redraft.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. So we'll do a Q&A here to end. Like we said, we'll answer questions in order, but a super chat will jump the queue here. CD's the first one. He says, 1 year into my Dynasty League for our startup draft, we did an auction. Doesn't seem like it's a common thing amongst the Dynasty community. Is there a specific reason? Not a specific reason. I just don't think it's caught fire like a startup has.
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons I'm not in love with it is because it takes away pretty much trading. If you think about it, like
you can just spend your whole thing and just get the guy that you really want.
Everyone has the same amount of money, so it makes it fair, but you don't really get to trade picks. It's tougher to like decide your strategy or to like get future picks in a startup and move up or down. So that's the only thing I could think of, because when you and I join a startup, one of the most favorite things you can do is trading picks before and after and during a startup draft. So
yeah,
but it's not a wrong way to do it.
It's not a wrong way to do it there.
Charlie says one quarterback, Tony Pollard, the 210-307 for a first. Yeah, I'll take the first. Easy.
Yeah. Thank you for the first.
Yeah.
Taylor, what's your stance on JSN this season? Don't have high expectations and hope for the best. We still believe in the talent. Just situation is appealing, especially with the new offensive coordinator. But don't expect him to be like a top 15 guy. But if he is, I guess we always knew he could be that with the talent that he had coming out of college.
Yeah. I think I have slightly higher expectations just because of that coaching change. I do think it's going to change the offense tremendously. But I'll say this: I think at minimum he becomes a number 2 on the offense. I think he plays a much higher percentage of snaps. I think he gets more targets, and I think Tyler Lockett takes a back seat. I think Jason will be out there on 2 wide receiver sets. I think they will not use him exclusively as a slot receiver. He will play primarily slot, but they'll move him all over the field. I just think about how Grubbs used McMillan when McMillan was healthy, today, Junior. But I think that coaching change is going to be really beneficial for JSN. And I expect him to be top 35. I think he has a ceiling of top 28 or so. Thank you for the donation showdown. We appreciate you, my man. Big love. Again, guys, if you want your question answered straight away, super chat's there. Otherwise, we are going in order. And the next question is from Gerard.
How you doing, brother? It's been a minute. I don't think we've seen you on the live stream for a minute. He says, got the 103 in the SuperFlex with Kyler, AR, and Dime. Should I take a quarterback at 3 or Neighbors? SuperFlex with Kyler, Anthony Richardson, at the 103 or Neighbors.
Just need way more information. How big is the league? How many starters are there? Is it a 10 or 12 man? Is it an 8 man? I can't really answer that without a lot more information.
I would say this: if you really want Neighbors, and maybe that's what you're contemplating with, and you feel comfortable with your quarterbacks, try and trade back, see what you can get. And if you can't trade back, then take best player available. Epic, Caleb Williams, and Neighbors, or Marin and Daniels.
You get this question all the time.
I'm happy either way.
Yeah, I don't really have a strong preference, I'll be honest.
Close your eyes and choose whichever one. I think they're both, at least we hope and we believe all 4 of these players, or the duos, are just going to be as successful as each other. So hopefully that helps. Shane traded Kenneth Walker away for Kyle Pitts. For every week tight end room, I have May and Dolchich. Good swap. May or Dolchich.
I think it's a fair swap.
Yeah, I think it's a fair swap as well. Brian, would you trade Ben Sinnott? Is it Sinnott or Sinnott?
Sinnott.
Ben Sinnott and a 25 mid to late first for Mark Andrews, no tight end premium.
No. And it's not because, Mark right now is worth about a mid to late first anyway.
Yeah, so adding Ben was, what was he, a second round pick?
Yeah.
So that hit rate.
I'll give you the first, but
decent.
It just feels like an overpay based off his market and a non-tight end premium.
Yeah. King Henry, as a rebuild and quarterback needy team, are you taking May or Neighbors at the 104? Or would you do best play available in your opinion?
I'd still go Neighbors. I think you'd force a quarterback there.
Exactly. If not, trade back. That's kind of what we've been saying to everyone here. I mean, we've done that multiple times in our league. Zach's done that multiple times. I've done that a couple times already. Sean or Ceedy, he says, yeah, that's true. Or what was he replying to there?
Just the auction format.
Okay. Grant, why do you guys live in Australia? Random question. We say this all the time. We moved to Australia. We both came here for college to live abroad. I came for a year. We went to the same school. That's how Zach and I met. We ended up becoming housemates. We lived in the same house, and now we both married Australians and live in Australia. So
that's the Twitter version for sure.
Yeah, that's the sum up question there. UT 12 team Superflex start 10: Lamar, Burrow, Anthony Richardson, CMC, Etienne, Devon, and a bunch of wide receiver 2s and 3s. Trade one of the quarterbacks for Chase or Monra. Love the extra QB for injuries, but hate leaving points on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the idea of moving like a Burrow or an A-Rich for a Chase or an Amon-Ra.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. I think if you're getting a Amon-Ra, get a second on top, but Chase straight up for one of those names.
Yeah.
I would rather have 4 guys if I made that move, but
I would say this: if you're gonna make that move, like see if you can get. Hey, I'll send you Joe Burrow, or I'll send you Anthony Richardson. Can I get a Jamar Chase? And maybe that player has a Daniel Jones or a Geno Smith. You just need another quarterback that we keep saying just in case because of these injuries. We saw over 16, 17 quarterbacks injured this past year. I'm not saying it's going to happen again this year, but you need just in case quarterbacks because you have two quarterbacks right now that didn't finish the season last year, and you have another quarterback in Lamar Jackson, who normally gets injured and misses 4 to 5 games at least in the past 2 to 3 years. So, respectfully, you have an injury history quarterback room. Just get somebody else just in case. Key 10 team. Start 10 Titan Premium SuperFlex Burrow for Daniels 26 second and a 27 second. I'll take Joe Burrow.
Oh really? Okay.
I'll take Joe Burrow because I don't think a 26 second and 27 second is enough.
Yeah, I would really depend on where those seconds end up. If I knew they were early, I'd be fine with it because that means there's a chance at them being late first value. If they're late, they're still better than the normal second, but I would rather just counter and make that a first. Daniel's
that's
first.
what I was going to say. Daniel's in a first. I'm happy to do that, but the 2 second.
I'll give you Burrow in a third for Daniel's in a first.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Steven, we probably should. What should it be? I don't know. I mean,
we should.
What's a good? I don't know.
Yeah.
Look at us, so creative.
So creative. Who
Grant says, would you trade the 2025 101 and a 26 first and a second for Patrick Mahomes in a SuperFlex Dynasty League? Look, is Mahomes worth that? Probably. But again, I need more context.
I just think like the main thing when it comes down to 26 and like a 26 first, that's 2 years away, you know? Like, we have no idea what this class is going to be. And like, maybe, I don't know, if you can tell me right now you have an insider that's telling you that the 26 first is just going to be like this 24 class, then
I like the 26 class.
I don't know much about the 26 class at all.
But just imagine you said that in 2022. 2024 is 2 years away.
But that's the thing. People were doing that. You know who did that? Gluten Freak. And he was like, the 24 class is stacked. We was like, bro.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, imagine you were like, it's 2 years away. I don't care about the first.
Sure. That's what I'm saying.
It would have been the wrong move.
And that's why I said, like, if I knew something about the 26 class, sure. But I don't know if I'm going in blind. Like, if we're going in blind, I'll say no. Because, like, why would I want to do that? But, like, if I had the context and I knew it, like, if you're dead.
Sorry. This says 2025 101. Are you saying the first you think it will be the 101 in 2025? Then absolutely Patrick Mahomes. But if you're telling me that is the 101 in 2024 and Caleb Williams, I think it's enough for me to really strongly consider it.
Yeah.
We did just get a donation from Curtis. Thanks for the super chat. He says,
Thank
"Love
you so
y'all for the review. Keep killing it and go Cavs. bbzebera." We appreciate
go
you,
Cavs,
Curtis.
baby. We want the Cavs for the Knicks because the Knicks are going to play the Cavs and hopefully not the Celtics if we win. Anyways.
Yeah, I think the Celtics are going to win that series.
Yeah, I think the Celtics are going to win, but I do want the Cavs. Anyways, thank you so much for that super chat there, Curtis.
Even if it's the 101 in 2025, it's very easily the Patrick Mahomes side there. Darren Waller droppable yet? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd drop him.
I would say that. Trax, do you have any deep sleepers that we should buy or players that you think will break out in year 2 or year 3, like Nico Collins in his year 3?
That's always a fun question. I mean,
It is always an
the
interesting
name
question.
the name that comes to me, and there is no bias attached to it whatsoever, at all, would be Jameson Williams.
Right.
No biased
I
whatsoever.
thought you were gonna say Treylon Burks. I was like, oh boy.
No, Jameson Williams, I think for sure would be in that category for me. Kendre Miller, I think, would be in that category for me. Jahan Dotson.
Yep. The first person that came to mind, I guess, with bias is probably Wan'Dale Robinson. He had a good second half of the season. I know Malik Neighbors is there. Maybe there's less eyes on him because there was literally no one else in that offense, right? So, and Wan'Dale Robinson is a great separator, great route runner. He's just a smaller wide receiver. So, the fact that he has a true number 1 now, maybe that kind of gives him more time to shine. But it also depends on the quarterback position. I guess that's a bias because he's on the Giants. But yes, Jahan Dotson comes to mind. 100%. I actually really like Christian Watson, even though
Watson's a really good shout, actually.
Yeah, I bought Christian Watson in the video the other day, giving a second chances. Like
he's really cheap too.
He's super cheap. Wide receiver 41 in the community right now. I really like Christian Watson, and with a quarterback in Jordan Love that we've seen produce, if he could just stay healthy, which we saw in that stint when he was healthy, he was leading in targets and yards and everything ahead of Jaden Reed. And then he got injured again, right? Like if he can stay healthy for 10 games, I just want to see what he can do. Fully healthy, just give me 10 games. Let's see what you can do.
Watson could be a freak. And the reason you can buy him is because Wicks also established himself. So now people are just assuming that Watson's never going to stay healthy and he's never going to be that dude, which, like, I get it. But I think Watson is a great shout there. But
I think those are the guys that come to mind in the wide receiver position. What's the next one? Jesse 12-man SuperFlex 2-point tight end premium, the 201 and Kamara for the 112.
212.
Yeah, sorry, 212 and Kamara for the 112. I'll take the 112 or the 112.
Yeah, I would too.
Ethan, so is it realistic for me to get a starting running back young or a good wide receiver and a first for JJ? A good getting a starting running back and a young wide receiver and a first for Justin Jefferson. I guess it just depends. Like, are you
define those players?
Are you saying you want like a Puka Nacua and Jahmyr Gibbs? I think no one's going to do that. Maybe they would. But are you saying
you're probably more looking at like a Trey Benson and a Garrett Wilson at most?
Yeah, like it's not going to be of like these caliber players. One of those guys are going to.
That's probably too much as well.
It's not going to feel like a good return.
Yeah.
You know. It's probably
it's
be
like
more
Pacheco, Olave in a first. I mean, yeah, if you can do that, that's a no-brainer. But
Pacheco, Olave in a first.
Yeah, I would do that
for Justin Jefferson. I guess I'm not I'm okay with it. I think the way I was going was like, I don't love Pacheco. I would rather maybe go for like the Benson or Brooks, if in the younger. I mean, Pacheco's only 24, 25, so it's not that big of a deal. But that's kind of how I was envisioning it here.
Yeah.
Text Case, how you doing? Says I want to ask a question, but submitted it for review. Don't want to take away opportunities from some other players in here tonight.
No worries, brother.
No worries. We appreciate you.
We'll be reviewing teams pretty consistently, so don't worry. We'll get to everyone's teams for sure.
Yeah.
Look, I think we'll call the stream there.
Yeah.
We appreciate everyone. Appreciate all of y'all. Thanks for hanging out with us. We got to go prep more content for y'all, and we'll see you guys very soon. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the support. Thank you everyone who's a member. Thank you everyone who's just here watching, hitting that like button. Did we reach our like goal of 50? And by the way, TX, feel free to hit us up in your fantasy hotline
Fantasy
as
hotline.
well. But we did reach 50, so we appreciate you guys. Go check out the wide receiver video we just released. Updated wide receivers, and I told you there'd be some controversy in the comment section. Yeah, there is. There are people unhappy.
Very unhappy.
It's some of the classic comments. You guys are clowns, you know. It's what have we not heard at this point? But
Genuinely.
I enjoyed it. Someone told us that we had brain dead takes. So you love to see it. Go check out the brain dead takes on the channel.
Oh
but
my goodness.
also, we are going to start posting on our redraft channel. So if you are watching this and you play redraft as well, go subscribe to the redraft channel. I just put a link there in the chat. This channel was popping off last year before the season, during the season. You know, we really do cover everything for you here. Start, sit, wide receiver, running backs, every matchup we go through each week, waiver wire ads, plays of the week, players that you should stash. We prep you for the playoffs, trade targets. It's really, I think, some of the best work that we do, even including the Dynasty channel. So go subscribe over there on the redraft channel. I will be on a vacation this time next week, but there will be a video that releases from me for you guys to see. And we're starting off with 10 players that you must draft. You need 10 players. I got every position in there that you need to draft. So go subscribe over to our redraft channel. And we appreciate you. Yes, all the teams are reviewed on a live stream.
Yes,
that might change at some point, but right now we're able to do that. But we appreciate you guys. See you soon. All love.
Love.